Hey guys, Live back here, and today I'm here to talk about Flyff again, right? So, as you can see, it's not your normal Flyff, it's private server. You can tell from the user interface, which is at the bottom here. You see that it's not the usual gold Flyff thing, and we have the old, you know, user stat on the top left. And today I'm here to talk about the server, but at the same time, I'm here with an admin. Here we go is Tetris admin right here. So I'm actually on a Discord with him, that's why you can hear him in the background. But anyway, let's get right into it, shall we? Hello, how should I address you?
You can address me with Tetris, you can address me with Michi, whatever you want.
Well, I guess I'll call you Tetris since that's your name right here, right?
Yes.
So, can you tell me more about yourself for now?
About myself? Oh,
Yeah, sure.
I'm a 20-year-old guy, study physics and IT. Physics I've already studied 2 semesters. IT I'm starting like this year in about 1 month. Working at night, trying to finance my living, working on a passion project called Clockworks Flyff. Trying to deliver the best product I can and generally have fun. That's pretty much me.
Yeah, so I have a few questions for you, and the first one will be, what do you think is unique about the server as compared to official?
So compared to official, there's way too many things to sum them all up, because official in the last few years fell behind very far compared to all the P servers that are already active.
Yeah, it's like,
But I can list a few. For example, multiple sieges. We have, instead of awakening with the usual green awake scroll and reverting with the revert scroll, we have fast awakening, where you can use just the reversions as an NPC. Alright. What?
alright, that reversion thing, yeah, I've tried it before. It's kind of pretty cool. You don't have to like use it again and then try to use the awakening scroll again, then use the reverse. It's gonna make jobs easier as well.
Yeah, it makes everything way faster, and it still kinda keeps the original vibe of life, where you have to use scrolls instead of the slash awakening system, where you just have to press one button, like put it on, I don't know, an F key and do it all over again.
Yeah.
We have a party finder compared to official, which doesn't have any, which sucks very badly.
Oh yeah, you have to like shout it. Right, that was like shift
Yeah.
plus P, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Shift plus play. Then shops. You can use multiple currencies in shops. You can sell your stuff for Perrin. You can sell your stuff for Pena, and the player shops work like this. Normally, you have the shop stuff you can put in is maximum of 2 billion. But we code it like this: if you put stuff for 4 billion in there, it automatically transfers and converts into Perrin, so you can theoretically put as many items as you want for the price you want in shops. I don't know whether or not you have used this feature, but many find it. It's one of our many quality of life changes that we have.
Yeah, I've used it. I've set up the shop myself, so I instead of like millions, I just put like a pair in there. So instead of 100 million,
Yeah.
1 billion, it's kind of make just jobs easier.
Yeah. Talking about all the quality of life changes we added, another thing that not only differentiates us from official Flyff, but also from other private servers. At least I think so, because I've never really played official or private servers. It's more like I did it 7 or 8 years ago when I was still a kid.
Alright, that's when I was a kid as well.
Yeah, it's like the right click options that not many might notice them because they are so trivial, but they are nowhere to be seen in official Flyff and other private servers where, for example, you have to drag your items from the shop into your inventory to buy them. We changed it so you can just right-click the items to buy them in your inventory. You can, instead of having to rely on transferring items from your bag, from your inventory to your bag by dragging them over there, you can also just open the bag, right-click, and you can transfer all your items you wanted to the bag. You can many more things with right-click. You can automatically put your weapon when you are trying to create an ultimate weapon, just double-click everything and so on and so on. But not only right-click options or double-click options are the thing we added. We also added tons of fail-safes. So say, like, have you ever upgraded something past +3 in your inventory and then broke it?
Probably an official server I did, but not on this server.
Yeah, on this server it's impossible. When you try to upgrade something past +3, or if you try to do anything that would normally break your item in your inventory, the system stops you and tells you no, you cannot upgrade past this thing because you are risking your item. And it's several things like these that we added, so it makes your life easier, and in the end makes our life easier.
Right. One of the feature that I mentioned was the shop. I didn't know that you can actually just use the right click. I mean, I just usually drag it as usual because when you play Fly for quite a long time, you just like get used to it as well.
Yeah, that's what I meant by many people don't even notice it because it's so trivial. Everywhere it's the same. You have to drag everything. You have to put more work into everything that it's actually needed. And I hope many more people will notice about these little things because it's these little things that differentiate us from all other private servers. We're like trying to perfect everything. We are putting so much work into every little detail, and in the end, this makes the difference.
Right. So, uh, g- moving on to the next question. Other servers, even official servers, are actually having problem with balancing the classes. Sometimes the official server is having the problem with assault, which is the BP, right? So they just like one hit almost everyone. So how do you prevent like the one class dominating PvP or
Hmm.
dominating the whole server itself, so that the server will have different type of classes being played, like slayers, rangers, and elementals.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, I see. Um, so PvP specifically, right?
Yeah.
In PvP, the thing is, PvP balance is divided into two things, where we have the Royal Rumble balance, one of our systems that we added, and the usual Guild Siege. Additionally, there's also the level 60 Siege that soon-ish will start, so balancing there will also be a thing, but currently our balancing system for PvP works like this, that every Tuesday around 8 p.m. Central European time, we invite people to talk to us in our Discord server, our official Discord server. And I'm talking about general things like I'm looking out the Guild War ranking that we have on our website, and I see, oh, for example, Slayer's on top, and second one is Bill Posted and Jester, and so on and so forth. And I ask them what kind of specs they were playing when they actually come to the Discord to talk about balance. I ask others what they think, what led to them being so strong, what they think, how how balanced it is, and stuff. And many great things came actually out of our balance discussions. For example, the whole thing started with a very controversial move that I did, which I think was not so bad, but it was perceived by the community as very, let's just say it's advanced and not so Flyff-esque, where I nerfed the Azal
All right.
formula by adding a negative stamina scaling. People hated it, so in the end I removed it and just told everyone, yeah, if you want to participate in the balancing act, just come Discord and we talk about it. And several nerfs like the Jester nerf for not just Jester but Ranger as well, where you instead of having Dark Illusion for like I don't know what it was, 13 or 14 seconds, we cut it down to 9 seconds. The cooldown was increased, but also other parts were buffed where you require skills such as the counter attack that you can probably use. We buffed the time on that one. Normally, you have to wait until the animation fully is done until you get the counter buff. So when you are attacked, pretty much it's almost exclusively used against ASL VPs. But it gives you more flexibility and more time, because you can pretty much use it if you are fast enough and think fast enough to counter build posters. But also other things came out of balanced discussions, like one-on-one classes on our server are actually useful. Like it's not just ASL BPs and hop chesters that are dominating in PvP, but also one-on-one ringmasters, one-on-one build posters, Templars, Blades, Rangers. Even a few times there was a one-on-one jester who participated in Guild Siege and was quite successful actually. And pretty much everything is viable. That doesn't mean that the balance is perfect as it is, because if it was, we wouldn't need every balance discussion every week.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
as it stands right now, we title ourselves as a community-driven server. So that's what we are doing. We are working together with the community to create a better game for everyone.
Well, I guess that's what really differentiate your server compared to other server in even official Flyff, because official Flyff they pretty much didn't care about community. They're just like, oh, PP, Asal,
Everything is
cares?
broken? Well,
Yeah.
if everything is broken, then nothing is broken.
Well, that's pretty much their policy right there.
Yeah, that's not what we stand for. I already mentioned it when we are talking about the quality of life changes, and that we are
Yeah.
trying to perfect everything in its detail. Like the community and balance stuff is also a big part of that.
So going for the next question. This is for beginners who just started playing Flyff, because maybe watching this video or my videos, they could like, this game looks fun. It's kind of like 3D-ish and so on, but it's actually, it's kind of a very old game. Do you have any tips for them when playing this game? Maybe especially for the server.
If they start from scratch, like they've never ever played Flyff, I probably would suggest to look up. Well, not really look up, because there's not so much material on the internet. Just join our Discord server and generally ask either me, the other admins, or one of our many supporters that are very helpful about various things, because quite frankly, the game is very confusing right now, because there's so many things, like so many upgrades, specialties that you can have. You can upgrade an item normally, you can upgrade it to ultimate, the piercings, the monster card slots, etc., etc. If I were to give a tip or elaborate on the things that we did to help beginners, would be to talk to the guys on Discord and generally ask as many questions as they want, because as I said many times, we are a community-driven server, so you'll pretty much every time reach someone. But what we specifically did so far for beginners is, I can show you, for example, if you follow me.
Sure. Oops.
Is the beginner NPC.
Right. That was the first few things that you'll get from the, what level are they again? I used to have it called the beginner chips.
Yeah, the beginner chips, you can drop
Yep.
them from level 1 to level 70, and pretty much every monster drops them. You can exchange these beginner chips for either when you click on the NPC for tickets, although you get tickets from the level up gifts for leveling up.
Mhm.
But it might be that, for example, you started playing and just forgot it, and the timer ran out on the ticket, so you can just buy a new one. Here, you can buy equipment level 45 or level 60. You can buy weapons for level 5 and 45 or level 60, and they are also upgraded a little bit. And you can use them. You can generally use them to help yourself at the beginning, kill monsters, like make it a little bit easier for yourself.
Yeah, kind of.
There's also more. Yes.
I did exchange a bit, like since I'm a jester, right? I got the Guardian Yoya. Where is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I used it once. Yeah, it was kind of useful because usually you wouldn't wanna spend like your currency for very trivial stuff like this, since the server obviously has the hard 100 times more EXP, right? So you're gonna level up real fast. It's kind of useful.
150. Yes.
Yes. Even the cruiser set, the level 45 set, I kind of use them. It's kind of really nice as well.
Oh, 100. It wasn't 150. I'm sorry. Yeah, also, when you look at the weapons, if you might have a look, you might notice that the attack values and the general values on the weapons are in blue and kind of have a range.
Uh-huh.
We didn't really talk about it, but this is pretty much the bread and butter of our server. This is what differentiates us from every single other server that there is. There is some kind of deviations that others tried to implement, but they are not really the same thing that we did. We have a completely random reroll weapon system, we call, where every single weapon starting with level 5, well, every green weapon, that includes the level 45 weapons, have a range from which its stats can roll. For example, when you look at the sword, the silver sword, the very first one, the attack can roll from 154 to 256. So if you buy one, you can for example get a weapon that has an attack range from 220 to 250. But you can also get a weapon that has an attack range from 155 to 255. Just an example. And this does not only this in the beginner NPC. It's just to bring it. Maybe the beginner notice the system and they see, oh, there's something new. I haven't seen this one yet. Because on official Flyff you have just set values.
Yeah, it's pretty
right?
much fixed value. So when I first see this, I'm like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool because it's not the usual standard like stats that you give. So I was like wondering, like, why is this weapon like cheaper than the others? Then I was like, oh, there was difference
it adds
in stats.
more. Yeah, it adds more depth to the game because before it was like, oh, I have my weapon. It's already the best one I can get. I'll just upgrade, blah blah blah. Go farm the next weapon. Then, and when you reach like Behemoth, our current staple weapons, the Behemoth weapons, you can just farm one weapon. You farm a Scepter of Disorder. Oh, I dropped one Scepter of Disorder. I already have the best weapon in the game. I cannot not do anything about it. Well, right now, because of the random weapon stats, you drop a Scepter of Disorder, look at it, oh, it has a nice attack value, but all the other stuff is rolled quite badly. This Scepter of Disorder is maybe not my weapon of choice, maybe I should wait for one, maybe I should buy one from another guild. And it kind of adds a goal to your life, to your player life, I mean. You don't have... Well, generally, you don't drop the very best weapon you can have the first time. you have to work towards a weapon that you are certain of. Yes, I want to use this weapon and I will upgrade it, and I'm pretty certain that it adds to my strength, because it you can always drop the perfect weapon, which is pretty unlikely, but you can also drop a very nice weapon with only one pretty bad stat. For example, when you look at the Sword of Silver Sword again, you might have the perfect attack value and the perfect attack speed value, like, right? You have an attack value from 254 to 256, an attack speed value of 8, but you only have a hit value of 8, and you think to yourself, when it looks like a bad weapon just because of one stat, but actually it isn't that bad, because we added another thing. If you follow me to Boku Boku, here, it was at the oh wait, I'm sorry, it was here at the weapon reroll dark. You can technically place your weapon inside dark. You might want to do that so you can demonstrate it to the audience.
Yeah, sure. I'll just take. Okay. I'm not sure whether I have the. I don't have a ruby.
Oh, you don't need to reroll it. It's just thinking about it. You see, you probably see right now that you can reroll your attack value on all these stats, right? On
Yep.
your weapon.
Yep.
If you haven't rerolled it yet, you can choose one reroll, one stat that you want to reroll, and only one. You cannot reroll every single stat on your weapon, like in the sense of you cannot reroll 4 stats. You have to choose one, and you stick with your weapon with it. So you cannot just drop one weapon, as I said, and create the perfect one with as many resources as you have. You can choose one stat and randomly roll that stat again for a price of Penya or Perrin, depending on the reroll that you are on, because the cost increases exponentially going forward. You also use for the weapon appropriate jewel. For 120 weapons, for example, it's a diamond. For 105 weapons, it's an emerald, and so on and so forth. And in the end, you can try to use the weapon reroll dark to create the perfect weapon that might not have been the very best that you dropped, but it was acceptable, and in the end, it kind of gives you a good feeling when you dropped something that might not look so good, but in the end you can create something amazing out of it. I've seen people drop like Eroica stuff, for example. I think it was Poacher. Poacher dropped Eroica stuff with the perfect attack value, perfect attack percentage value, and what else was on Eroica stuff? Let me see. Eroica. And the perfect cast time, but the intelligence was minimum. It was 25. So he put it into the reroll NPC, rerolled it, bam, first try 65. He has the perfect weapon.
Whoa.
It's super satisfying when you see these things happen to yourself. Of course, you can get quite unlucky as well, because you are not guaranteed to roll something better. It's random.
Yep.
But that's the fun of the game. You always have something to do. You can always upgrade something. You can always farm a new weapon and try to make it better than your current one. It isn't just a staple that you farm one weapon and in the end it's the best thing you will ever have. We deviated quite a bit.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, because in the end, it's still something like new to the server, right? And it's something that beginners can look forward to when they get to high level and get better items, so that maybe they don't get scammed along the way. Because
yes,
some will.
That's
probably
one
try to-
of the things many don't notice at first, because they see that there's 2 weapons in the shop. It's the exact same weapon, but it has different stats, and they don't realize why one weapon is worth 10 million while the other is worth 20 million. But after a certain time, people notice it and they realize, wow, that's a pretty cool thing to having to think about, because it adds more dimensions to the game other than just having to look for one thing and only one thing.
Yeah, no, I first noticed that when I was like, oh, why is this level 135 yo-yo called Dementia? It's like, why is this more expensive than the other? So I was like, maybe the piercing? No, but they're both clean. So like, oh, it was the stats. One is better stats than the other.
Yes.
So
And this is one of the many things.
yeah. So last question. Why is it called Clockwork Flyff? No, some called it, I don't know. The last time I played was called the Mischief Life because the person's name was called Mitchi or something.
Well, if you want to know the true reason, I don't know, because when the name was already decided, I wasn't part of the team. But a few minutes ago, I asked why they chose the name Clockworks Flyff, and Jason, the owner of the server, actually answered, "I really don't know anymore." He thinks they chose the name Clockworks Flyff because Clockworks used to be the strongest entity in Flyff.
Yeah, right.
Like back when version 9 or something, where nothing was implemented and Clockworks was like this mighty beast that destroyed all of the world and was attacking everything. Like Garden of Rises was destroyed by this mighty beast, and I think that was supposed to be the name.
Yeah, right. I still remember back in the days where there was the Clockwork Invasion event. It was like very chaotic.
I remember that one. I died so many times to Clockworks.
Yeah, it's like you just like log in one day. It's like, oh, what's going on? I was like trying to level up. Oh, why is this giant here? It's red. Holy! I was like, run away and then keep dying, keep dying. It's kind of like sometimes you wish back then you were like, how I wish I was one of those max level people with decent gear. Maybe try to fight against the Clockwork as well.
Yeah, it was quite a fun time back then when not everything was stupidly broken.
Yep, I think
still it's a fun game.
Yeah, it was a fun game until the developer just started to go downhill, don't want to do any updates, and doesn't take the community's opinion into the game itself. Like,
yeah, that's one also another thing that differentiates us from Official Flyff and many other private servers. Official Flyff went pretty heavy on the pay-to-win factor. If you still remember the QMs that increased your experience rate by 250% or some stupid shit.
QM was pretty much to buy 5, it's like 10 times, so it's like 1,000.
Yeah, 10, and you could also stack it 5.
Yeah, 5 times, so it became 1,000. So
times, and for me it was batshit crazy, but there were several people that bought them. You could reach hero in one day, which was like, you couldn't even think about something like this back in the day, where you had to grind for months and months to even reach hero. It was something special to ever reach, and just because of the greediness of G Potato back then and now Webson probably, they completely destroyed a very good game.
Yeah, now it's like, it's even more broken. It's more, the official server is becoming more pay to win, because now the card S, you are allowed to actually buy them. So back then,
yeah, we haven't implemented the S or R cards or whatever cards there are. You can everything. We of course as a private server have to finance the server costs and stuff. But the primary things that you find in our shop are cosmetic stuff, like CS sets, cloaks, and other stuff that don't have any stats. Like you can buy buff pets. You can buy several buff pets or mounts that you cannot get these specific mounts and pets in game, but you can get, for example, at the At the Clockworks chip shop, Leon, right behind us, you can get a mount, a pet that has equally good stats, the little Lucan. It has all stats 15 and speed 10. So pretty much everything you buy in our web shop is either, what is the correct word? You can either buy it in game as well or farm it in game as well, anywhere, or it doesn't add any stats to your character. It was
Right.
very important to us that we don't add anything of value to the web shop that might be necessary for the game. Like you have to get it.
Right.
Like the Dragon King sets. It's the best example. Many people suggested to us to put Dragon King sets in our web shop to
Yep.
donate for, because they cost 500 per in
Yeah.
to buy them, like at
That
the
was pretty
NPC.
crazy. Yeah, first
Yeah,
time.
and we knew, of course, if we put it in the web shop, we could make money off of it, but that isn't the point that we are trying to get at. We want the game to be as vanilla as possible, like with our own style that we are adding to it.
Mhm.
We are not trying to put anything that might affect gameplay into the web shop. There might be one exception for the green furniture, but
Mhm.
didn't add the green furniture out of our own will. We actually, in the beginning, like 6 months ago, when we opened the server, we had several surveys where we asked players for their opinions when they played the beta, what they thought about several systems that we added and what we should put into the web shop. And green furniture was actually a community suggestion that we added to the web shop. Like, furniture is pretty much the only thing that you can get from the web shop that you cannot get in-game anywhere else.
Right. And yeah, when I first see the shop, because when I play the game, I would like to see whether is the server pay to win or is it vanilla, kind of the reminiscence of the past when you first play Flyff, right? So
Yes.
yeah, that's what made me choose the game, choose your server, because it was not pay to win. Maybe even the cloak itself, they're all like freaking chance box. I have to like try it for like 50 times the guaranteed chance to actually get the cloak that I want. So even so, it's not even the most OP. Just looks
Yes.
cool, right?
It's
So,
it's it's pretty much everything looks like. As I said, nothing we put into web shop is essential. You can live without donating a single cent. You can reach the very best player without even donating a single cent. I know several people that actually have like skins that you can only buy from the web shop, but they have never donated. Not never ever bought the CWP Clockworks points, we call them,
mhm.
and they still look like as if they have donated many euros or dollars or whatever currency you are using, because you can pretty much farm in game if you work hard enough. You can
Right,
get everything you want.
right. I pretty much, yeah. You really pretty much have to farm the items that you want as well, unless some kind people are sort of kind enough to give you the items that you want. When I first played, some people actually gave me the Saka Crystal, which I did not use, but uh, managed to buy the Ultimate Bloody Yoya. It's pretty decent as well. So it's kind of nice knowing that the shop itself is not gonna be pay to win. Like other servers, I played Michi's server back then. It was kind of really irritating at some point because you could buy the S card equivalent, you could buy the best gear online, so it was kind of not fun. So when people reach max level, they, pre they are pretty much done with the game. So it's kind of very pay to win. So
Yeah, that we don't like that. Well, as I said in the beginning, it's a passion project.
yeah,
Every one of us, me as Tetris, Vladi, Cedrica, even Chapstick. We started this with having the community in mind, having fun doing all of this, and
hmm
trying to deliver the generally best product. We work like in real life. We work. Every one of us has a job. It's
hmm
not like we rely on the money that the server makes or doesn't make.
yeah, true.
We pay all of our rent with our own money. So in the end, that's why we are pretty much able to not put anything in the web shop that has to be bought. Like you have to buy it and you to finance us. We can live without it.
Right. Unlike other servers, pretty much try to rely on the community to
Don't
actually
know.
provide them.
Yeah,
Okay. Uh, thank you very much for allowing me to interview you today.
no problem. If you
Yeah,
have any questions, you can keep asking.
yeah,
It's also to your viewers. If anyone has any questions, they can just message me on WhatsApp. WhatsApp, I say, on Discord.
right. On
Discord, I'm pretty much always online, except when it looks like I'm not online. But
you're
when
just
I'm online, I'm on my computer. When I'm not online, I'm generally on my phone.
yeah,
So you can message me then.
yep. You're like just scrolling around in in the shadow, like suddenly joining in the call in the balance discussion channel. Everyone, when I first came in there with other people, like, wait, Tetris is online? Like what?
Yes.
Under the administrator, it's only Chapstick who is online 24 hours, but obviously he still sleeps as well. Yep. Thank you so much for allowing me to interview today and explain to me about the server as well.
Yeah. We missed many things. Like there's tons of things that we haven't talked about, but I
But
think the very best idea is to compile a comprehensive list, and I can give it to you, and you probably can put it into your description, and all your viewers can look at the description and see what changes we made to the game itself and compare to other servers.
or maybe you could just put it as well on the forum, right?
Well, that as well, yes.
Well, I think forum itself is pretty nice as well. Yep. Thank you very much.
No problem, sir.
Bye. So that was Tetris, guys. As you can see, he's right beside me still. So basically, he sent me a list as well of the the difference between the official server and this server, and also comparing with private server. I asked him beforehand because I don't want to be rude as well, saying suddenly asking him last minute, hey, can you do me a favor and interview you? I don't want to do that. I mean, he has his own life. He has to prepare as well because as much as he is an admin, he has to uh he will miss out some stuff, right? Uh, anyway, so as you can see, it's just pretty much talking about the server itself, what is going on at the behind the scenes, uh, what is the overall, you know, this is what you call this, overall achievements or the things that the server wants to achieve, right? Example that Tetris said is a community-based driven server. Of course, I once participated in the balance discussion channel. If you go to the Discord server, there will be one voice channel on the discussion channel balancing one. So I once go in there, and it was kind of interesting because he himself actually siege, so he knows what is going on in the siege, not just randomly listening to people like, oh, you should nerf this, you should buff this, you should, you know, etc., etc., and then might mess up the whole server. So it's kind of a very approachable admins. When I first have a problem, directly go to the Discord. 1 minute later, an admin comes and like, hey, what's the problem? So when you first play the game, if you're new to the server or even new to the game itself, the first thing I would actually advise is to uh, join the Discord server. And if you have any question, just ask in the general chat or in the question. People will answer you, be it players or admins or helpers itself. So right now, I'm about to end the video. Thank you so much for watching and listening. It's kind of very dry. In the description down below will be the Discord server, uh, the server download as well, so you can download the server and play with us. And also, I'll probably open a Google Docs so that you can see the difference and all the comprehensive list as well. So thank you very much for watching in. Hope you like the video and subscribe for more. I'm probably gonna make more videos, probably hopefully once a week. The first one I'll be doing for you guys to actually look forward to is the beginner guide. I'll make a beginner guide for the video, so if you wanna play, you will have a sense of what's going on. Alright? Okay, thank you very much and have a nice day.